So, DeVashi, like, I could talk about food all day. Like, I love Southern food. It
I
is
do
like
too.
my favorite. Like fried chicken, pinto beans, black eyed peas, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, potato salad, like cornbread. I could just go on and on
Wait,
and
wait,
on.
wait, wait. Do you actually like pinto beans and black eyed peas?
I love pinto beans and black eyed peas. Like my black eyed peas, I love to eat those, like kind of
Who
sweet with
actually
rice.
likes? Ah,
You don't eat pinto beans?
no. Oh
What?
God, pinto beans, butter beans, none of that. Disgusting. I hate
You
it.
are crazy. Like what? Pinto beans with some like pork in it. Oh my God. Like my grandma killed that. Like we would just eat it like just by the bowl. So like just a bowl of pinto beans with some
I
cornbread. That was a meal.
I don't like what it's a there's a list of stuff I don't like, and I'm a Southern boy,
I'm about to say, are
but
you from the South? Like what is this?
probably not. Okay, so let's say let's
Probably.
start. I don't like I don't really like black eyed peas. I don't really like pinto beans. I do not like sweet potatoes. Could care less for yams. Neck bones, okay. Um
I ain't met any black person that don't yams now. Come on.
I oh
What?
no. Oh God, no. It's that
Potatoes is just like
consistency.
God's gift to us. Like what? Some
But I
yam?
do but I will eat a sweet potato pie every so often. But I choose to eat pumpkin pie.
Oh, you different.
Yeah, I
You
am.
real different.
Yeah, I am. I don't like liver.
Yeah, I'm
It
not.
just about everybody in my family loves liver.
Oh,
I am
liver,
not a
yeah.
fan. I'm not a fan of liver. But my mom, anytime that she would cook liver, she would also cook me cube steak. So everybody else would
Mm.
eat liver, and I would have cube steak because
Mm.
it's just that taste. It's just,
Oh, yeah. I'm not a liver fan either. Like, no.
just it's real
Now,
gamey.
will you eat pig feet?
No.
Oh, so you wouldn't have made it in Lexington because that's like we ate pork. Like we ate pig is in everything, everything.
Do you
That
eat?
that meat, like even crackling cornbread. Sometimes you would put the pork in the cornbread. Like that I mean,
Oh, you're country, country.
no parts of the pig is off limits. So yeah,
Pig
barbecue
feet.
pig feet. Like what?
Oh my goodness, Aisha, I have learned so much today.
So no chitlins for you.
No.
Oh, you bougie. You bougie.
she said
Wow.
she said there is no part of the pig that's off limits. Oh
Mm-mm. Now
God.
I don't eat them as much as I used to when I lived in Lexington because I do want to live a long life. Um, but
So
but yeah,
in
occasionally.
in moderation, in moderation.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can't eat that every day. Oh gosh.
No, oh God, no. Your cholesterol, high blood pressure, all that. Not every day.
Yep.
So, what other type of cuisines do you like?
My favorite. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I would say Asian, but I feel like a lot of people are exposed to like different types of Asian food. So I'm gonna say Asian. I'm also gonna say Korean barbecue. That's like a newfound love of mine. But I'm gonna say like my favorite different type of cuisine now is Indian food. I
Mine
love
too.
Indian food.
I
So there's a
love it.
couple of places, and that's what I love about Durham. Okay, like shameless plug. Let's just back up for a second. That's what I love about Durham because you can literally eat food from anywhere in the world in Durham. You got Indian restaurants, we got Korean barbecue restaurants, we have African restaurants. I mean, you name it, Spanish restaurants, a little bit of everything. I love it, love it.
Yeah. I started falling in love with Indian food once I really like dove into corporate America because it's a
Mm.
lot in the corporate scene, and I just got introduced not only just to the restaurants, but sometimes where we have like the corporate potlucks, they would bring stuff that they made from home that was like specific to where they're from, and just being able to just taste the
Yes.
different flavors. It's
Yes.
like it really just opens up your palate, and I'm like, okay,
Yes.
what have I been missing? Where was this spice at? When I was 9 and 10 years old, when my mom was trying to stuff down some nasty, crusty liver. Where were these spices? Maybe they would have made the liver taste better if it had some turmeric in it.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that is so important to, I've never been exposed to Indian food until I moved to Durham. Let me say that. I was never exposed to Korean food until I moved to Durham. So I mean at the bare minimum, we had Chinese places, we had, Mexican places, but to really taste like authentic like Spanish food and Spanish food from different places, like Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just I just wasn't exposed to it in my hometown. So I agree with you. Like you have to really expand your palate and just get out there and try some different things. Like I've had veggie samosas and like beef samosas from like India, and then I've also had like beef samosas from like African restaurants. And it's just like I never would have eaten any of those things before, but like I love it now. And like Jira wings are my favorite. They're like these like charcoal wings, like onions and peppers and carrots, and it's an Indian dish and it's so good. And even lamb, like I've never eaten lamb before until like a year ago was like my first exposure to lamb meat. I just haven't had it, but I love having, a palate that is just like well cultured. I think we owe it to ourselves to be cultured.
Absolutely. So that's where we're going to be going with this episode. We're going to be kind of talking with one of our local restaurateurs in the Durham, North Carolina area. And trust me, this is going to be an episode that you're going to learn so much. You're going to get to really know their story. So get ready, sit back and relax. And we will be right back after a quick break.
Yes, this is going to be a good one. So come hungry.
Hey guys, this is DeVashi of RDU Black Podcast. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us under the handle at RDU Black Podcast. That's RDUBLK Podcast. We post regularly, so make sure you stay connected.
Hey guys, and we are back. Aisha, I'm excited to actually have our first couple on the podcast.
Yes, our first couple. Very excited to have the Lovebirds on our show today.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and cue them up real quick. And actually, this is mostly written from the perspective of the namesake, and that is coming from Chef Zweli. Zweli, for short, first discovered her love for flavors at a young age in Zimbabwe, her origin. She was intrigued by putting unique ingredients together, making a well-composed, flavorful dish. Upon finishing high school, she migrated to Durham, North Carolina, where she attended the illustrious North Carolina Central University and majored in hospitality and tourism, where she met her now husband and fellow business partner, Leonardo. While at school, her passion for flavors continued to materialize by catering events for family and friends. Upon graduating college, she harnessed her skill set in managing several restaurant chains and food service departments. She longed to not only be an entrepreneur, but a positive role model for her community, her country, and young girls across the world. She employs her efforts by bringing people together, creating unique experiences, and providing opportunities for the local community. In 2016, they embarked on their way, a long life dream, by taking a leap of faith to introducing their catering business, Zweli's Incorporated. The business expanded exponentially. Growth and support from friends, family, community, and corporate partners was so overwhelming at the response of Zweli's flavors, they needed to expand. Zweli started making plans of opening their first location. As they embark on their new journey, their goal is to introduce as many people to new flavors as possible, also to bring unforgettable experiences to the community by providing a canvas of tasty memories and a venue for meetings and social gatherings of any size. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome to the RDU Black Podcast, the owners of Zweli's Kitchen and Catering, Zweli and Leonardo.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
We were enjoying the backstage, just chilling.
Welcome. Thank y'all guys for coming. Definitely. Full disclosure, I have known Leo. Wow, it's been like 20 years now.
20 years, yeah.
Woo, somebody's getting old, and it's not me.
Not me. I don't have people in there.
Okay. Well, you have to remember when you met me, I was 21 years old because I didn't get to school until I was 21. So I was already older than everybody else.
But I think we probably the same age because I don't count my first 2 years in college. I started like my third year there, calling that my freshman year. I partied way too much.
Yeah, we're not even gonna go there at all. So Zweli, it is nice to finally meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about what you guys are doing, and I am so excited to really kind of just dive a little bit deeper and find out more information about what you're doing. So introduce yourself to the world.
All right. Well, I'm Zweli, Chef Zweli Williams. A lot of people know me as Chef. So I am from Zimbabwe. I've been in this country for maybe 21 years now. 21 years. So I came straight from high school in Zimbabwe to college here in North Carolina at North Carolina Central University. And that's where I met this guy right here, Leo. And we've been kicking it ever since. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. They say that it's a whole old saying that says the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And I'm sure you have a story of a moment, Leo, where you knew after tasting this food that she cooks that this is the one. Can you tell us how the love for food blossomed into this beautiful union?
So I'll give you the quick version. There's an interesting story here. Zweli and I met my freshman year at Central, my real freshman year. And I'll never forget, it's like a really cool thing to have your car your freshman year and live off campus. Those are like goals, Well, she had her own car. She had her own apartment. She had an accent, and she was from Africa. I never met anyone from Africa. I remember meeting her, and I just fell in love with her the moment I saw her. And I ended up spending the next 3 months with her, and I would never forget. I went to her apartment. She made this meal, and it was one of the best meals I'd ever had in my life. And do y'all know she had ran a bath for me also?
Oh,
Wait.
let me take notes. Get my pen out. Let me get my notebook. Hold up.
I mean, I was coming from band practice.
She said you weren't going nowhere. You're gonna go home.
I walked in her apartment. I smelled this food, but she said first the bath. I went and I took a bath that was prepared. I came out, and that was some of the best food I ever had. And I knew at that moment, this is going to be my wife. I just needed to clear some things up. So I went to my girlfriend, whom I forgot I had. And
God.
It's not going to work out. We got to end this now. But Zweli happened to see me with that girl when I was trying to break up with her. She didn't want to do it. She kissed me. But Zweli saw it and smacked the living daylights out of me. And I didn't see Zweli again for 13 years.
Yeah, that was the
Wow.
Yeah, she disappeared. I saw her 13 years later, and I was like, I'm not losing you this time.
I know.
She said after I drew this bath for you, and you just gonna do this too? I'm with Zweli.
Yeah, she made a heck of a meal again for me, and I was like, the world needs to explore this. So again, that food did it for me, and that's how we got this restaurant open. I was like, people have to experience this.
I know you come from an education background, and for those who don't know, Leo's been an educator for some years now. How many years has it been?
I started in 2006. I was a teacher of the year the first time in 2008, and then district level teacher of the year in 2014. And became a principal, became a director, associate superintendent, consultant for Governor Cooper in education policy, and then opened a restaurant. So up until about 2018.
Gotcha. So education and culinary aren't really worlds that collide that often, except for in the cafeteria. I remember back in my NCCU days, Chicken Wednesdays, it was the littest time ever. Literally, folks would dress up like they were going to the club. We had a DJ and everything. And all that just to eat some chicken. But culture has always been defined by the spaces. You can really just define a space by just the culture. And I noticed that with Zweli's, it's known for really just cultivating that space of feeling something and tasting something different. And you're known for your delicious chicken dishes. Not sure if you have the DJ like we had back at Central, but you've cultivated an environment where education and food can consist together. Sorry. Prior to the pandemic, you were doing like cooking classes. Can you tell us where that idea came from and how you go about merging your two worlds?
I think the cooking class idea came from just community, being able to do, to get the, people around us to not only just going out to dinner at a restaurant or going to the movies. It was more so of an experience that, you experience in some big cities, but there wasn't anything like it in Durham. So that's how it came along. The first time we did a cooking class, I believe, was maybe about 4 years ago at Red City Network, and it was Valentine's Day. So we did it for a whole week, and we just wanted really to do something different. We wanted to be able to connect also, different people or different couples, and just build more of a rapport that would happen outside of a restaurant.
And how has that merging between Leo being an educator and you being a chef, how does that work?
I think that we complement each other in that he's really, really good at what he does, which is networking, marketing, people talking, engaging. And I'm really also good, in the kitchen. So we kind of merged our two worlds by doing what we're best at. And it really works pretty well for us.
And to add to that, initially it was community and culinary, but now it's education and entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Those are the two uncommon journeys that have met at this interesting intersection of life. And it's really cultivated into something quite bigger than us. When the McDougal terrorist crisis happened, we kicked into overdrive and we fed the community. We looked at our privilege and said, this is something we can use for good. We served 49,672 meals, raised $6,000, had over 400 volunteers and partners in the community. And we fed every person until they were back into their apartment every single day except Sundays.
Wow. So y'all really took the pandemic and you kind of just remixed it. You really just remixed your whole idea, becoming more community minded.
Right. And this was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few months before the pandemic.
It started in December. Mm-hmm. So December, January, mm-hmm. February, the pandemic said, hello, I'm here. And they were already dealing with the pandemic in their community, having to be evacuated. It was 706 people.
Wow.
So, that was a tough time, but we did what we do best, and that's love on our community. And our community have been loving on us, which is how we're still here.
So you said 49,000 meals?
49,672 meals.
Let me make sure I make that right. 49,672 meals. Wow. That's amazing, man.
Community members just donated food, hot dogs, buns, rice, beans, and plates, and we got that kitchen pumping, and we had volunteers getting the food and driving to different hotels. There were 19 hotels across the city, and we just had volunteers that pack up in here every day, and we got in our cars, we drove to different hotels, and we dropped off boxes and cases of food, and we did that until we didn't have to anymore.
Gotcha. So what was the thing that kind of kept the business going even in the midst of all of this time?
So people care. People care. When you care, people care. Folks saw it. It was like, this restaurant has gone into overdrive, given all they have to take care of these families, because it's only right. It's the citizen's obligation. And because of that, people said, I'm going to eat there. I'm going to eat at that local restaurant, family-owned restaurant that loves their community. I want to make sure that community businesses like that stay around. So they supported us. That's how we did it.
Let's definitely be more specific. We're talking about Durham. We're talking about Durham when you reference community, because Zweli's is in Durham. You're talking about Durham. Those that were in low income housing that you were able to support when they were displaced from their homes. All of this was in Durham. And so we talk about the community, and it could span a little bit further than that for those that actually like drive into Zweli's to order food. But when we talk about this particular event, we're talking about the support of the community from Durham. So, obviously you have the history of North Carolina Central, and that's, what initially brought you all together. But looking back on that today, like during all the years that you've been here and been in Durham, what is so special about Durham to you that where you wanted to start a business here and you wanted to grow together here, and you just give to your community and your community gives back to you. But why is that so special, and why does that happen here in Durham?
So Durham is home, to both of us, because we've been here for so long, since college. It's like 20 something years, so Durham is home. We look at our community as our neighbors, as our family. So whatever we go through, and also whatever we can do for our family, for our neighbors, that's what we do. And naturally, we get the same thing back, every time from them. So it's really just being there for our community, like you would, for your neighbors or your family. And, the reciprocation is just automatic, and it's just always there. So we really, when we first thought of, having a restaurant, that was the first place we wanted to be, because this is where we feel mostly comfortable.
Durham was receptive as well culturally. There's this debate about where's it better to live, Durham or Raleigh. Durham by far, because we're here for the culture.
Culture. Thank you. I try to tell the baby this all the time.
I'm not knocking Raleigh. We may open up a business in Raleigh, but what do you love about Raleigh? What can you say about it? But when you come to Durham, you look on buildings and you see Paulie Murray. Like, come on, one of the greatest icons ever. You have the only, up until a few months ago, the only Zimbabwean restaurant in the United States.
But you're the first.
We are the first.
You're still the first.
Durham made that happen. That's why.
Yeah, and when I first moved here 5 years ago, a Black-owned business was the first, that was my first contact to move into Durham. And I just was walking downtown and happened to stumble into BU Cafe, and I was able to meet Dorian and Chef and all those great people there. Yeah. And soon after I met Candy Carver, and I could just kind of go on and name drop, but it was just me coming from a small town, moving to Durham, and I just met all the Black people that I met. But then my first 30 days here just happened to be entrepreneurs. Oh yeah, I have my own business, or yeah, I'm an artist, or yeah, I painted this. I'm it was just, it's awesome. It's just mind blowing. Just so to see you all be able to build and create a legacy in Durham it's so Durham. It's so Durham.
You can see the living DNA in Durham.
Yeah. You really can. You really can. Yeah. You really can. I know entrepreneurship just drives inside of your blood, Zweli. I heard you say that your mother started a business at 20. And it seemed that drive of creating your own and being able to stand on your own 2 feet has always been a staple for you. How has that upbringing helped to shape the business owner you are today?
I'll tell you, my mother is my hero. She is my role model. I don't know anybody else. I've never met anyone who works as hard as she has. And my mom always tells me you need to work for your name. You need to work really, really hard for your name. You need to earn your name. And that's all she's done throughout my whole life. She's, worked and earned her name. I have never known my mom to work for anybody ever since I've
yes.
Wow.
And my mom didn't go to high school. She does not have a high school diploma, but she has done phenomenal. She's done amazing things. So growing up in a household, a single family household where it's 4 girls. My mom has 4 girls.
Wow.
And a female leader who just leads and have led on her own right. I remember when I was young, my mom had this little shop. It was my mom is in textile, so she has this little shop, little factory where she had 3 people working in machines. At the back and at the front, she had a little boutique that she was selling the clothes that she was making at the back. And just the memory of that to who she is today, a woman who employs over 400 people, provides, for over 400 people within her company, and owns everything that she has, owns straight up, completely.
Wow.
I'm always feeling like I'm so way behind.
you have a high bar.
Let me just interject on that, guys.
It's high.
Let me interject. Zweli comes from good stock.
Oh, yes.
That's an old country term. She comes from good stock, and she's been modest. Her mother has an 8th grade, highest grade level of education is 8th grade, right? She now owns the largest textile factory in Zimbabwe. She owns every piece and fiber of that factory in that 6-story building.
Woo!
They took part of the building and they said, "Oh, toilet tissue is a need," so they bought the toilet tissue assembly line, and now they have a toilet tissue factory.
Wow!
And she traveled around the world to meet with different presidents and CEOs of different countries, and she ships all of this raw material back down to Zimbabwe, and she continues to do her hustle.
Yeah.
And that's why when we talk to mom, we feel like we're just like we're lazy or something.
We wait behind.
We have between the 2 of us, we have 4 degrees.
Yeah.
4 degrees, and we only have 1 business. So mom is like, "What are you doing?" Oh my God, it's so intense. It's intense.
Yeah, that is Black girl magic for real. That is awesome.
Right. Yes.
So I also read that you're an untrained chef, but you have a background in hospitality and tourism. And Leo being a former educator, coming up as you were kind of finding your way, I'm sure you kind of ran into that dreaded imposter syndrome, that being that you don't have enough, I guess, formal training, as they say, in that particular area that you just have a natural gift for. I've kind of dealt with that myself. I'm a self-taught graphic and web designer, but after countless trials and errors and watching this YouTube video and watching that training and this and the third, I've become a pretty decent artist. But I've never let proper schooling stop my hustle. I see that you haven't had that happen to you either. Hence, you now have Zweli's. So what can you say to those people that may be feeling that imposter syndrome and not letting it deter you from your path?
I think it's important to look at things in a different perspective, because a lot of our passions are in art. There is nothing that you can be taught in school that you don't already know. If you have a true passion in something, it's nothing that you can be taught in school. Yeah, they can teach you how to, market your business, how to run your business. Yeah, the technicalities. But to be an artist, you're born with it. And the more you embrace it and the more you become confident in it, the better you are. Because nobody's going to teach that to you. Nobody. I always look at any of the recipes that I create in the restaurant, as in I'm painting on a canvas. Some people may not like it, some people may like it, but this is me. This is who I am. And when you come into the restaurant, you get to experience me. And that's me being an artist. And that's all I can offer. That's all we can offer, to people coming into the restaurant. And, I'm welcome to feedback. I'm welcome to, any kind of criticism or whatever. But at the end of the day, I am providing my passion to you. And my passion is my palette. I want you to experience it. You may like it, you may not like it, but at the end of the day, that's what I'm here to offer.
Can you stop? Because I love it.
That was great. My passion is my palette.
My palette. quotable.
I love it. I love it. Every time
wonderful.
he tells us, like, explain that, because people say untrained. They think she's not like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. She's cultured. She's a cultured chef. So you're tasting her life experience through every flavor, and it's just you can't teach that. Like she said.
Yeah, she has said that some dishes are like 4 ingredients because that was the only thing that was available to her. So we're literally tasting stuff that she was raised up around. Exactly. So it's like that is amazing. That it's like, okay, yeah, when you're trying to like figure out your menu and stuff like that, people might go with Americana food that we've kind of just seen. You're literally tasting Zimbabwe when you go to Zweli's.
Right, exactly. And you can't change that. You can ask me, that you can't say, I wish she added this. I wish she took off this, because this is my cultural cuisine. This is my upbringing. And all I'm doing is trying to get you to experience it. That's it. So, that's what we're here. That's what we're all about.
There's no salt, no pepper, no ketchup, sauces, or anything on our tables when you walk in.
Right.
And no one ever asks for it, ever.
Nope. You don't need it.
If you season your food right, you don't need anything else. That's what I'm trying to tell people. That's why I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. We talking about that whole, I guess, the myth of potato salad and who makes the potato salad. I don't understand why almonds and grapes need to go on potato salad. I have no idea why that's a thing. Exactly. But for some people, it's a thing. If you prepare your food right, you ain't gonna have no problems. And then we might start asking you to bring something to the cookout.
Well, luckily we don't have that problem at Zweli's. So let's go ahead and transition into food. So we've been talking a lot about business and entrepreneurship and how you all got started, kind of like the history of Zweli's. But I think we should get into the menu, because there could be people that are listening to this episode that have not had a chance to eat at Zweli's yet. So Zweli's, I'm going to go down the menu, and I'm going to ask for your help in pronouncing some of the items. So some of the things that I saw that I think the public should know and that everybody should try, and things that I've had as well as Zweli's, would be, let's see, the first one is the deep fried wheat dough fritters, the Maguinhas.
Maguinhas, you got it.
Maguinhas, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
She's been working on this. She's so been working on this.
So these, for those that are listening, are very similar to the Southern staple, like hush puppies. Mm-hmm. Yep, but they're slightly sweeter.
Yes, slightly sweeter. They are, I would say, they are kind of softer. They are fluffy, very fluffy in the inside, and they are really, really good with. I usually have Maguinhas with some tea. Tea with no sugar or nothing. With Maguinhas, especially on a rainy, cold day, it just feels so homey. Yeah.
That sounds.
Sometimes you can get them plain, or you can get them with we put powdered sugar. About them just days. Yes, but they're delicious as a bread to share, and they're also delicious as a dessert with powdered sugar on them.
Yum. Okay, and the next one I have, it's sadza.
Yes.
A meal-based staple dish similar to polenta, or some people say ugali.
Yes, ugali. Yes.
Ugali. Yes. So those are very, very similar to what some people in the South would know as grits.
Mm-hmm. So we've heard of the fufu challenge, everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's more so the same kind of concept. We eat very, very similar in all of Africa. Is that, be it in Ethiopia, you have injera that you kind of dip in your bread in a stew. Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, we use it's called sadza. It's like a cornmeal, a ground fine cornmeal that you kind of steam with water. It's literally cornmeal and water that's steamed, and it's good, but you have to have it with something on the side. Imagine having bread, regular bread from the store on its own. You're like,
Right.
you kind of need something. It's the same thing. It's like a filler, but once you kind of combine it with like a stew, like we have the oxtails, combine it with the oxtail stew, combine it with goat stew, or so if for people that are vegan with like a bean stew, it's like really, really delicious.
Which is the misconception of fufu.
Right.
Fufu. Like they first of all, people mispronounce it. They're saying fufu. It's not fufu. It's fufu.
That's the Southern drag.
And then you have people eating it by itself. You're supposed to eat it with something.
Exactly. You're not gonna like it when you eat it by itself. So you have to kind of know a little bit of a background on how you're supposed to eat it before you actually eat it and purchase it and form an opinion.
Yeah. We get like 20 calls a day. Hey, do y'all sell fufu? No. We just stop disrespecting the culture.
So you said it's kind of similar to grits. So there's that whole argument about grits, whether or not you put butter in it, like I say you should, or you put sugar in it. So is this a sweet or is it a savory thing? And don't shake your head because you're supposed to put butter in it. You're not supposed to put sugar in grits.
So it's literally the way we have it back home. It depends on what country as well, because a lot of countries in Africa, have this. So in Zimbabwe, we just eat it plain. It's just the powdered cornmeal and water steamed. The stew is supposed to provide the flavor. Wings, the side dishes are supposed to provide the flavor. This is like a filler to make you full, to make it more, to make whatever you're eating more fulfilling. However, in South Africa, I know sometimes they add a little butter, they add a little salt to it. And sometimes they add a little bit of herbs, maybe rosemary or oregano or whatever, to kind of enhance the flavor. But it's never sweet. If it's sweet, it's going to be looser, and it's going to be what we call porridge.
Okay.
And
porridge.
we have porridge here too, from time to time.
What is it
Made
called
the
again?
same way. Bota. Made
Yeah.
the same way, but this time it's cornmeal, steamed cornmeal, but we're adding peanut butter, we're adding brown sugar, we're adding butter, we're adding a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's still really, really, really delicious. We serve it as a dessert, but you can.
Torch the top.
It's like oatmeal, kind of. It's like kind of oatmeal, yeah.
Right, and that's
good.
and that's the difference between grits and oatmeal. Oatmeal is supposed to be sweet. Grits is supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be savory. Just want to dispel that myth.
And then the next three.
Just real quick, the best way to understand this is there's a show on Netflix called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind.
Yes.
And what they're fighting over, the cornmeal, the corn to make corn. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Nice.
Same
Okay.
thing. So when we do part 2 of this episode, we can do it in the restaurant and do a tasting.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sign me up. Yes.
We're going to Zweli.
And the next 3 sides that you can expect if you were going to Zweli's would also be the collard greens cooked with peanut butter. And that is different. Yes. And then the jollof rice and fried curry cabbage. And the great thing about all of these sides is that it's all vegan.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Cool. So cool. And then if you are a meat eater like myself, then you probably would like to try the beef samosas and the peri peri chicken. Peri peri chicken, yeah, which is the star of the show. I mean, so I came to Zweli's during their grand opening. Well, I think this was a soft opening technically in 2018. And so I was able to try, I know, take it way back. And so I was able to try the peri peri chicken, which was, oh my gosh, if you haven't had the chicken yet, like you've got to get to Zweli's. Yeah. I was Durham at the time. Yeah.
No, it clicks. Okay.
Yes, yeah. And so the space was just beautifully decorated. You guys had colorful fabrics and plants and candles and lots of local art. And then you told me that you had handmade a lot of the tables.
Yeah.
So tell us
Wow.
like what you were feeling in 2018 during your soft opening, kind of like showcasing your food, not, for the first time to a lot of people who came to the soft opening. So that was kind of like our way to be able to try some of the food in the community, and also tell us about, the furniture that you made, the tables that you handmade, and how you came across that idea, how you got it in there, and just kind of like what your thoughts were on that day.
So we opened in 2018.
Yeah.
However, this had been a long time coming, because even for our kitchen equipment, not just our tables, kitchen equipment, we had been going from auction to auction.
All across the state.
Oh, wow.
We couldn't afford to buy, these new pieces of equipment that were extremely expensive. And besides, we didn't even have the credit, to be
Yeah.
able to get all the stuff and have to pay like interest on it and stuff. So everything lived in our garage for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were not even parking our cars in the garage. We
had
were
a
storing. It was a storage
16-foot hood
facility.
system.
Yeah, we had so much stuff, and sometimes I felt like I was just crazy. Like, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? Because we were just buying all kinds of stuff, and I didn't even think. At some point, you keep going, and you forget to even think that you're gonna use this one day. It went from, okay, we're getting this for the restaurant because we're gonna use it one day. It went from just getting a whole bunch of stuff and just, okay, I saw this, I bought it, I'm gonna put it here.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
And the tables, the tables were pallets, like what you see behind the Walmart.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We have a friend named Ted who just deconstructed them, sanded them down, and reconstructed them into tables. And the high tops are wire spools that I got from Goldsboro. This guy was throwing them away. And I just I unscrewed them and beat the middle part out. And Zweli actually sanded them down. And we put like 2x4s on the bottom, and we made high top tables. The bar stools, I saw them on YouTube. Oh, and Facebook Live. There was a really bad storm in Greensboro, and someone was walking down the street like, y'all, the trees are down everywhere. And I saw like a whole bunch of like rubbish. And I saw these bar stools, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I commented, and I was like, hey, what are you doing with those bar stools behind you? Somebody threw them away. I said, hey, I'm about to get a trailer. I'll be there to Greensboro in 1 hour. I went and rented a trailer, drove to Greensboro, on that street, got those bar stools, came back here. Zweli and I went to Joann's, got some fabric, and refurbished them.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my
It
gosh.
was literally the
That's
hustle.
amazing.
Y'all
Yes.
really built
Yes.
that place
You
from the
built it
ground
from the
up.
ground up. Oh my
We
God.
looked on YouTube and we learned how to paint. That's why these walls red. It was that type of hustle.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
And just like you said too, Zweli, just like to see the stuff that you kind of bought, and like you probably had it for years, and just to like at one point you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, like why do I have all of this stuff? Is it ever going to go anywhere? Is it always going to be in my garage? Like, so how did you keep the vision? Because, to see it come alive in 2018 when you opened up, how did you just kind of like keep the faith during that time?
Whew. Through this guy, I'm a
She
very,
quit a million times.
I'm a very emotional. I'm extremely, extremely emotional about everything that I do.
When's your birthday?
December.
Ooh, okay. All
I'm
right.
a set up Sagi, and Leo is he's very level-headed, and he has more faith.
Yep. She would go to bed quitting.
I quit every day.
Every night.
day.
I quit. I'm not doing this tomorrow. We wake up. Okay, let's get to work.
Oh, that's what's up.
Even up to today, it's still really not easy with this COVID, thing. I do have my weak moments, but my weak moments, do not. It doesn't mean that I quit. It means that I have so much passion within me that it's, I can't stand to seeing some of the way things are going, I just can't stand it so much that it just consumes me, most of the time. And just Leo is the stronger, he's the stronger part of all of this. He manages to keep me level-headed and to always calm us down when I feel like the world is about to
we complement each other well.
Yeah.
She has her benefits. I'm telling you, like and for me, I don't expect me to do anything detailed. Don't ask me to be don't ask me to look at the numbers, the data, nothing. I just want to get butts and seats and serve them good food. If I can be the visionary, she can be the executioner. That's how we work together.
Good.
That's good. That's a good balance. Definitely a good balance. So Zweli, what's probably your favorite dish that you serve, and what's a dish that you don't think Americans would even go for, that you're waiting to see, let's build up this palate a little bit before we get there?
Well, you know what? I really cannot say I have a dish that I would favor over another. That's very hard.
You sure? Oxtails and salsa?
I do love salsa because salsa. I grew up eating it every single day. I was eating salsa back home. That's what people eat every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really say. It just depends. Like every day, I have something different.
Yeah. It's like picking your favorite child. You just can't.
Yeah, you just can't. But I do have some menu items that I still have not introduced to the menu because you have to kind of take it. It's like putting your foot in the water, trying to test the waters. It's like I do test the waters with some things like, okay, let me see how the reaction is going to be. And, some of the items people are not ready for. They're just not. And if I, introduce something on the menu, I see that it's not working so well because, people maybe need to try it, more. I need to give them a little bit more time. I tend to take it off the menu and be like, okay, let's see if we can bring it back next year.
Spicy grilled chicken feet.
Yeah. Oh, they're so delicious.
But they didn't really kick out.
Yeah. It's different, I guess, when it's not the pandemic, and we can be able to create a sample for someone to try it, and then they'll realize how good it is. Because most times right now, it's just takeout. You just you get what you order. So yeah,
it's true. Yeah.
In
the restaurant setting, people tend to like try something different. Like, oh, let's try this while we're here. It kind of, because it's social. Like food is very social. Mm-hmm. Whereas I felt like when I'm doing takeout, I'd like to kind of stick with what I know, because case of me going back to the restaurant after I've already gotten home, it's just like, so I'd rather kind of just like, let me just order like the peri chicken, please, because that's what I know that I like. So I like to call it greens and call it a day.
You guys are definitely, I would say, influencers, not only just influencing us with new ideas of how to eat, but also just influencers in the community. I saw last year that you guys were guests of the Democratic presidential candidate, now current President Joe Biden. How did that happen? And how, because like it was like we saw it on social media and we're like, wait, Zweli's Durham? and I was like, Leo? How'd that happen?
Our restaurant is 4,000 square feet, and obviously, DeVashi, I've always been politically engaged. There was a point in time where I got a phone call. This is where it all started. I got a phone call by this guy named Patrick Hanna, and he said, "Hey man, I know you don't know me, but I've been following you. I'm chair of the airport authority and RDU Airport Authority, and I want you to meet someone." It's like, oh, well, nice to meet you, and who would you like me to meet? He said, I'll tell you at the moment. He calls me back and says, hey, I need you to meet at a secret location, blah, 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 blah. I get there, and I'm in the room, and I see a few heavy hitters in the room. And Dorian is there also. And the guest speaker comes up, and before she speaks, she leans over and she says, "Leonardo, it's great to have you here." Her name was Diana Taylor. That's Michael Bloomberg's wife.
Yeah.
And afterward, we had a few, little dialogue, and we left. But as I'm walking to my truck, someone runs out and says, "Hey, are you busy tomorrow? Mrs. Taylor would like to have breakfast with you." It's like, whoa, really? So I said, yeah. She said, "Well, we don't want to inconvenience. Is your restaurant open?" "Yes, it is."
Yes.
We didn't open it until 12 noon. 7:30 that morning, Zweli and I came in. Zweli made this beautiful, illustrious Zimbabwean style breakfast. And this Lincoln Town car pulls up. She gets out, had her driver, her assistant, and the state political director. And they came in and we all sat around the table. And she said, "I heard about you guys. Wow. I'm just impressed with the way you've been able to be such, great supporters of your community. And I just wanted to come and have breakfast with you and say thank you." And we talked a bit more. And she's like, "Wait a minute, you guys need to be on a larger scale. Like, we need people to know about what you're doing." So that's when, she said, "How about I send Michael's campaign here?" Okay.
Wow.
Literally, they had a big old campaign bus roll up outside a few weeks later, and they Secret Service, everybody's here. They turned the restaurant into a Stop the Gun Violence rally stop. And that was a beautiful day. Next thing you know, this guy flies in. He says, "Michael Bloomberg sent me. He told me to ask you whatever you need to provide it for you." I didn't know how to answer that question. After that, I get a call saying, "Hey, can you get to South Carolina tomorrow?" It's like, yeah, what's going on?
Tomorrow?
The Democratic National Debate. I get there in the ultimate VIP service, thinking that everything is over. Next thing you know, Elizabeth Warren campaign reach out. They sent Ayanna Pressley here. Next thing you know, who else came? Elizabeth Warren and Bloomberg. And the Biden campaign reached out, and they sent Kerry Washington. And so we hosted her, and we was like, okay, that was great. It's over. Next thing you know, Bacardi Sellers as well. But next thing you know, we get a call. I get a call, 6:30 on a Wednesday night. "Hey, Leo, are you busy tomorrow?" "No, what's up?" And this is a political campaign person. They said, "How soon can you get to Nashville?" "What's going on in Nashville?"
Wow.
"Oh, President Biden said that you and your wife are the American story, and he want to invite you as his special debate tomorrow." So the presidential debate? Yeah. Like, yeah, we're on the way.
Crazy.
And I was like, "You got to be freaking kidding me!" And in the background, "No, Leonardo, I'm not kidding you, man." Like, oh my gosh, it's Biden. So we get there and we do the test. The next thing you know, we have news interviews all day. We get to the debate hall thinking that we're going to be in the balcony.
No, you weren't.
Us up and they gave us an escort, took us all the way to the front.
Sure did.
Seating chart. And it said Ivanka Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Tiffany Trump, Eric Trump, Leonardo Williams, Zweli Williams, Keisha Lance Bottom, Dr. Jill Biden. All of them. And my mind was blown wide open. And that was the experience. We even had to close the restaurant because people saw us on CNN and started rushing to the restaurant to support. Thursday night, we're slow. So we didn't staff up.
Right.
Wow.
That's amazing, man.
I had chills just listening to that. Like, what a story. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Y'all have just dropped so many stories today that it's like, really, honestly, the story of the entrepreneur is just so vast. It's like making the decision to make that thing happen, and it's like all the little things that leads up to it. You're just kind of building stuff and just kind of storing it. We may use it, we may not use it. Then to say, okay, now we have a reason to use it, and you kind of refurbishing stuff just to, and it's like we didn't even know. It was just like I think it's just more than just hustle. I think it's just being Black.
Resourceful, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we have some things coming up. We have some major things coming up that we're super excited about.
Go ahead, share.
Yeah, say, let the people know.
You want to tell them?
Yeah, sure. So we've been working, we've been working, on
That's why I'm tired.
my memoir, which is my, my a book, my first book, which probably it's going to be out. I'm giving it maybe 2 to 3 months from now. And this is my personal memoir from, I guess, the story of my life, how I got to where I am today.
First time.
For the first time. I know a lot of people are usually curious. They hear bits and pieces, of, this is, she grew up here, and stuff, but they try to tell it in their own ways. A lot of people try to retell my story, but this is going to be really the first time that I really tell my story from, where I was born, when I was born, the struggles, that I've been through and the triumphs that I've been through. Not only that, but also providing inspiration, to young women, to young, girls that are, maybe caught in different scenarios and maybe thinking that, they don't see the light. It's hard to see the light when you're in some situations, just reaffirmations that, most things that we go through are only temporary. Yes. So that's really the gist of the book that's coming out.
Go to ZweliWilliams.com and check it out. That's kind of like the little teaser launch of what's happening, creating the inspiration circle. But if you go to ZweliWilliams.com, you'll see the first preview. And I'm married to this woman, and I'm not the most emotional person, but I learned so much, things that she still can't verbalize right now.
Yeah.
But it was my first time really visualizing what she went through, and I'm still to this day shocked that she's alive. Dealing with abuse, kidnap, just struggle, watching her mom make the impossible, laughing at it, making it possible, Yeah. And the other thing is we're launching a 100 county tour to tell the story of how other small business and entrepreneurs have made it through this COVID-19. And that's starting in April as well. So that's some major things coming up.
Wow.
You heard it here first on RDU Black Podcast. Yes. Yes. Well, congratulations to all your accomplishments. We're going to be here rooting you on and supporting like we always do. Just as a last question to kind of just wrap things up, I usually have an ending question. DeVashi usually has an ending question. So I always like to ask for both of you, if you could both share like what you use to pour into you, like what fills up your cup at the end of the day or early in the morning. What kind of keeps you going? Is it a book that you read? Is it, a podcast that you listen to? Like, what do you use to just kind of like fill up your cup and to keep you going and to be like awesome entrepreneurs and also to be great spouses to each other?
I think for me, it's time, it's time well spent together, because most times we're so busy. We are so busy, pulled from one direction to the next, with different kind of stresses, all the time. But if we can spare just 5 minutes to just forget about everything else and to reassure ourselves that, everything is going to be okay. We're okay. We're doing okay. It kind of opens up some room for some time where we can really completely be.
Yeah. And I'm going to answer this question by giving some instructions for other spouses or couples. And I don't mean this in a graphic way, but because it's necessary. But this is what you must do. This is what we've learned. At the end of the day, get a glass of wine, open it, or some tea, but a bottle of wine, open it, put it on the dresser and let it breathe. Go take a shower together. Turn off the lights, put 2 candles in there, and let the water be really hot, and just hold each other and escape from the day. And when you get out of the shower, go lay down and drink those glasses of wine and watch magic happen.
Yeah.
She really prepared you, Doc, by drawing that bath.
Yes. I love that. I love the time we connect and to do what married folks do. So you ain't saying nothing. I was
like, Lord, send me someone that's going to draw me a bath.
I know, right? Draw me a bath.
Okay, as my last question, if you could just take a moment and just speak a word of encouragement to the lives of all the current, future Black RDU entrepreneurs listening today.
All right. I will say this. Nobody is holding you back. That's a facade. That's just a misperception. Nobody's holding you back. Just do it. When I say just do it, do what it is that you want to do. There is no social prerequisite to being more of an impactful person or starting the business that you want to do. You must start so you can fail. And you're not failing to lose. You're failing. Each step that you step on is a failure. You know, you failed once. Step on that because you're learning from it. It's going to lift you up. So just do it. Find out what you want to do and stop being lazy. Stop waiting. Stop coming up with excuses. Just get in the game. Just do it.
I love it.
Zweli?
So my saying, I have this saying that I really live by. And this saying is by Oprah Winfrey. Just knowing the next right move is crucial. It's really, really crucial because it's so many things, so many moves that we make within a day, right? We constantly moving, we're constantly evolving, but really stopping and figuring out what the next right move for you is really important because it kind of sets precedence of the overall picture. All your success is not your success is not measured by a big move that you make. It's measured by each and every little step. So knowing what that next little step, that next right move is extremely, extremely important.
Yes.
Absolutely. Everybody clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. For Zweli, that is Chef Zweli and Leonardo Williams, owner of Zweli's Kitchen and Catering. So tell everybody how they can find you. Make sure y'all give us your website, your location, hours of day, because we're still in COVID. So you want to just kind of let everybody know when are you going to actually start opening back up for the public, all of that.
Yeah. So like I said before, our restaurant is 4,000 square feet. So we never closed. We just stayed distance. We kept the takeout operation going, but we are open for dine-in. Individually, you can find me at leonardowilliams.com. You can find her at zweliwilliams.com. Our hustle, our establishment together is zwelis.com. And you can find us online on the socials at Zweli's Kitchen everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Cool.
And hours of operation 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. right now. We'll go back to the extended hours of 11 a.m. to like 10 p.m. once things get back to normal. And I guess one last thing, we just found out this morning that we have access to vaccines. So we are working on an operation to getting, I believe it'll be 200 people vaccinated a day. So look out for that announcement.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
what's up.
Tuned. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. We just secured a relationship with a lab, and Durham Public Schools made the announcement of with Ottendorf Labs. We were able to get every staff member and every student in Durham Public Schools access to rapid tests, COVID tests. So we got that situated, and the next thing is going to be the vaccinations for our community. So,
woo! Y'all are awesome.
Awesome. Y'all
This
fire.
was great. This was so good. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today.
Thank you.
thank you all so much.